For months, I led one of the most challenging projects of my career as a tech professional, artificial intelligence projects. And look, I can say that since my time at Oracle, when I led the American Airlines project, this was definitely one of my biggest challenges. So stick around for this video if you really want to understand how the world of artificial intelligence is actually changing the way companies work in production. Okay, this isn't just theory. All right, let's go. Let me give you some context. A lot of people probably saw a while ago that I made an announcement here on Instagram, on YouTube, across all my networks about a new company I founded called AI Workforce One. I'll put the tag here so you can see. And this company, basically a software company, a new project I created within my ecosystem where my challenge was basically to develop AI agents that could sell over phone calls. Look how crazy that is, right? Look at where we've arrived. So it was software, an application we had to build, and the engine of this application was AI agents behind it, making calls to people and selling. This company basically caught a lot of attention in the market, and then I received several partnership proposals, and one of them was Plug and Play. Plug and Play is one of the biggest startup accelerators in the world. They saw what we were doing, reached out to me on LinkedIn, and invited me to be part of their cohort. And man, that was insane because actually getting accelerated by one of the biggest tech startups in the world that's behind big names like PayPal and, if I'm not mistaken, Dropbox too. Anyway, there are several names, you can look it up later. And it was a huge challenge, a huge responsibility. Imagine leading something like that with so much visibility, with people looking at all this, executives, investors. So it was really a pretty big challenge. I basically had to do presentations, go there and show what the company was, present it manhãs to investors, to C-levels. Anyway, imagine the pressure. And then me as a founder and also technical lead of this operation, we basically doing all the software delivery part for companies anyway, etc. And we closed a contract with one of the biggest marketing companies here in the United States. The founder is a guy I really admire, one of my mentors too. His name is Russell Brunson. He's well known in the marketing and sales world here in the US. So he saw what we were doing and he said, Gene, I want to test this. I want you to implement this for us. And then I got butterflies in my stomach. That's why I mentioned the big challenge. Why? Because he has giant marketing events here in the US and he wanted to use our technology for his events. And so that's exactly what we did. Basically, we developed all the AI agents for the sales team that would make calls to engage with the event attendees and eventually sell. And this process was pretty challenging because we had to plan everything. Imagine there were thousands of attendees, tens of thousands of calls that had to happen. Imagine the architecture in production to support all that. So I had to, along with my team, guarantee that the architecture would hold up. And in the end, everything worked out and we built a case study with them. And like what caught my attention the most was the result we managed to bring them. These agents we made for him, the case study is even documented on the AI Workforce One website. These agents we created for them sold over $146,000 over the phone, just like a human, one-on-one with attendees of the sales events that they engaged with there. That was really mind-blowing, but at the same time, it was rewarding seeing that happen. Why am I saying all this here and giving this context? Because these last 8 months were intense and challenging, I can say, like never before in my career as a tech professional. And I saw with my own eyes and with my own hands too that the world and the tech market with AI agents now speaking not just as a product, the AI agent as a product, but behind the scenes too in software development and operations for companies change the game forever. The way we view software development and infrastructure management, operations with artificial intelligence has completely changed. Okay? Just to give you an idea, AI Workforce One, like I said, was developed with a small team, okay? A small team of just 4 humans. And get this, 4 humans commanding, delegating, orchestrating around 90 AI agents. That's right, 90 AI agents doing what humans would have to do. So just so you know, guys, for this software to go into production the way we developed it, we're talking about a team of at least 40 people easily to be able to do what we did. And again, this isn't an MVP. We're talking about a case that went to production. So this has a validated case study, generated revenue, so it's in production today, you know? So when I looked at this, I said, man, this world has completely changed. Because imagine this, in the previous mode of technology, what did you need to have? You needed to have a giant architecture team to define the architecture, then a giant development team, back end, front end, a product team, a DevOps team, a team for everything that would need to happen for that application to go to production. But imagine now, in today's world, fewer humans, a smaller number of humans orchestrating the agents that do everything in an automated way. There were millions of lines of code written, both back-end, front-end code, and infrastructure as code, 100% done by AI agents, orchestrated naturally by humans there, who worked more on the judgment and orchestration side rather than execution, which is actually the role of the new tech professional from now on. You, as a tech professional, and now I get into the part that matters to you, from now on, what will you need? To delegate a lot more work for AI agents to execute. You supervise and orchestrate, not execute anymore. You know, so this completely changed the game in the tech market. And I wanted to drop by here to share this with you, who follows me here, who trusts my work, who has already participated in some training. So seeing all this that's happening and looking at what we developed and we delivered in the last few years, the learnings, I think I learned more in these last 8 months than I learned, I don't know, in the last 10 years as a tech professional, because I've never seen anything like what I've been seeing happen. And looking at this, I said, man, it's a waste for me not to share this knowledge and what's happening, a bit of what's happening with you who's here, who follows me at the Cloud Bootcamp. So I thought about it, but then those excuses come right up. Oh, Jean, but you're too busy. How are you going to do this? And then actually, even talking a bit here so you understand, people know me today from the Cloud Bootcamp and from AI Workforce One, which are the companies I decided to show publicly. But I do other things. I have other projects that nobody sees. But looking at all this, I started to think and make these excuses, but I said, man, no, I think it's worth coming back. And look, I promise, okay, I'll do my best here to try and share a bit more knowledge about these topics with you. And even take the chance and tell me down here in the comments, put it there in the comments for me, what you thought of all this. What you expect to learn from me about artificial intelligence for development, for operations, for architecture. What you expect to learn from me in this phase where artificial intelligence has been consolidating in the market. Put it here for me and I'll carefully prepare content for you about this. Let's get it.